I rightly deserve to hate this world, but yet I choose to love. Welcome to No Strings Attached Street Ministry. You know, a lot of people has asked me what put me in the position that I am today, and why do I feel the way I feel and have the opinions that I have of the world. And then the people that do know my story has always asked me that it would be a world's bestseller, that I should find my wealth through writing my book. I didn't think my book was worth ever reading, because believe me, I guess there's a market for horror stories. And that's exactly where my life has been, is one big horror story. So with this video here, in hopes to get a lot of you to sort of see where I come from and what's taking place in my life, and trying to do it without emotion and getting all tore up and having to relive the pain and everything else. I'm going to try to give you a factual, as close to perfect detail of my life as I could possibly give it, and what put me where I am today. So if you're interested in a good story, hang out. And this may be long, I don't know. Gotta hope and pray that y'all actually watch this video, because a lot of it's going to be from my soul, and a lot of it's going to be, he'll hit you at home, it'll hit you real. And who knows, maybe there's a angel out there in disguise in YouTube land that may have the power and the authority through their job and their position in life to be able to help regain or change some of my life back. I'm going to give you a life of hopelessness. Back in July of 1999, I was injured in a bobcat accident. I'm not going to get into all the details and everything of what's going on anyway. I ended up severely injured. Came home a couple weeks later, all the way back from, that was in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Decided to drive home a couple weeks later after going through all my initial doctor's appointments, and then wanting me to just stay in a motel up there and do nothing for the next year. I said I was going to go back to Florida, and it was a big mess between even who would take care of my workman comp. Was it through them, or was it through North Carolina? Was it through Florida? You know, no one knew anything. Because I lived in Florida, I worked in North Carolina, and my job, my office, was actually out of Tennessee. So it was, well, let's just say it was a clusterfuck. That's basically what it was. But anyway, after my injury, I had severe whiplash injuries all up and down my spine, knee injuries, elbow injuries, nerve damage, brain damage. I had my cerebral tonsil was pulled out down in my skull. I think it was 21 something. I think it's not centimeters, but like millimeters. It's about an inch long, I guess, somewhere around there. Whatever that is. I'm not too good with centimeters and things and the meter part. But what it did, it put pressure on all my nerves, and I would have this phantom nerve disorders and pains throughout my body, and I still do even up today. I've lived with these pains and the disabilities for 21 years. So they finally put me on workman comp, decided to put me on to workman comp. They told me to sit home, go to my doctors and stuff, and I started my doctor regiment down here in Florida. The very second that they took the MRI and found out the true story of what actually happened to me, they knew it was a serious ordeal. So they decided just to shut me off. I made an extreme, very good money here. My workman comp didn't even pay. I was on their maximum and it didn't even pay a tenth of what I was making a week. That shows you the kind of money that I was making. I left a job there paying close to about $2,000 a week. And for a man to go from that to nothing, it really hit home. Yeah, we had savings, but you know what? After me being down, going through all the courts and all the bankruptcies and everything else that this has drugged me through, they finally decided to settle with me 2 years later. And honestly, would not even have covered, the settlement wasn't even enough to cover 1 year of a normal salary. That was my offer. Thank you, Morgan, Calling in Gilbert. You fucking suck. But that just goes to show you how quick a lawyer would want to go after and satisfy his little bitty niche, and don't give a crap about you and who you are. And I felt in my heart that it was a payback underneath the table type deal, because they knew I was hurt, and they knew that they didn't want me to go to court. So they basically told me my only option was to settle out of court and to go through this arbitration thing. I guess by law, I had to go that route. So me being naive, I went on and took that option, I guess, They came back and first offered me $10,000, and I laughed in their face. I said, dude, you can keep your money. I would rather not have anything than that. That's a slap in my face. I said, you've destroyed my life. You destroyed my family's lives. You destroyed my ability to work. You've literally come after me and basically starved me out for 2 years where I couldn't eat anything. And pushed me to the very last second. But anyway, needless to say, I guess that's their job. But anyone that has that authority to do that in an arbitration, and the insurance companies and the lawyers that take on the positions and they make these negotiations under the table like this, and they treat their clientele like this, shame on you, every one of you, shame on you. If I wasn't a Christian man, I would swear you to rot in hell, because that's exactly what you deserve. Like I told you, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be straight with you. There's a lot of heavy emotions that I had to go through in this life. But that's what made me who I am today. Unfortunately, the feelings has to be that strong just to get the point across. Most people don't have no clue what that's even like. So I ended up finally getting a settlement. Honestly, it was smaller than a normal 40-week salary for an entire, for even a year. It didn't even cover that. But I was desperate. I was broke. I had nothing. I was on the verge of, I lost every single thing I had in savings. It took my entire savings to pay my mortgage and to keep my bills as much as I possibly could to where we could survive as a family. and I burnt through over $370,000 in savings. I mean, I didn't expect me to be down that long. I was like a hawk. I mean, literally, I was strong. I was in my prime of my life. I was 39 years old. I mean, I worked 14, 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. Nothing could take me down. I mean, honestly, I was like a brick. So I always thought I would bounce back. It's all right, baby. Just give me a few more months just to finish healing up. I'll be back. Don't worry about it. We don't need any of these people. We'll come back. You know, we'll be back. Yeah. Well, by the time that my settlement came through, I realized I ain't coming back as well as I thought I was going to. So after many hours of crying and talking with my wife and trying to figure out what in the world we were going to do out of life, and because everything I knew to do was in construction, all used hard labor in my hands, and I had no use of any of it no more. So we sent my wife to school. I took my settlement and paid for her college, got her through college, and she became a school teacher. And she's been diligently taking care of me and my family ever since. Total woman from heaven herself. Our marriage completely was destroyed. Our marriage has gone through hell and back, trust me. Started out to where I couldn't even sleep because she was working at Walmart part-time. Basically full-time, but part-time, if you know what I mean. She was working at nights, trying to be a mother during the day and sleeping during the day and getting ready to go back to work and still going to online school to get her degree to become a teacher. She was enrolled in full-time college every day as well, going to work and being a mother as well, taking care of me. Like I said, the woman she's a saint. And could I ever hold anything against her of anything that she would have ever thought about me or wanted to run away or walk away? Hell no, I could never blame her a moment for what she's had to go through. Not only through all that, my lawyer was so crappy. They didn't even go through, push myself through any kind of insurance. They told me that I was covered through Medicare or Medicaid or whatever. That's what they told me in the settlement room. But apparently I wasn't, which was a lie. They didn't even attempt to even try to get my disability, my Social Security disability. Didn't even attempt that. Basically ran away from that with all their might that they could do because it wasn't profitable enough for them. Thank you so much, Colleen and Gilbert. You're both crap. Hope I never see either one of you again. But anyway, calm yourself down, Jim. Take a breath. You're here to tell a story, not to show how mad you are. But it's honestly very difficult to do so. So I figured, I finally went on and applied for Social Security disability on my own. Did that 3 times over the last 21 years. All 3 times was denied. My disability, they say, is not in their listed and approved disabilities. I don't even understand that at all. I mean, they could see my physical disability, but they were trying to put me in disability because I guess they have a right to choose what they want to disable. So because I had a knee injury, they wanted to do my disability on my knee instead of my brain or instead of my back. You know what I mean? They wouldn't put it all together. I was only allowed them to examine one part of my body. Now go figure that one out. So anyway, I got screwed out of that. So then even right up till recently, just a month or so ago, I was talking to my doctor. And she's like, Jim, you've had heart attacks. You've had all kinds of... You should be getting your disability very easily. I said, yeah, but apparently I heard from the grapevine at the end of my last one that I just didn't have enough paperwork to flood the judge with papers. Now, if this is the kind of crap that this Social Security is enforcing people to do to qualify, shame on you. Shame on you. If you are in that position, or if you are in the top of Social Security that makes these stupid ass rules to do this to people, you deserve to be hung on a cross yourself. Shame on all of you. To sit back and take your job and to absorb all that money and to treat people, the common folks, the way you do. If you're a member of Congress and you vote for this crap, you don't represent me or any of the people out there that I know of in this country. Shame on you as well. You deserve to go home and live off of nothing the rest of your life. See how you take it. But no, you got free health insurance. You live like a king the rest of your life. Take a breath, Jim. In through the nose, smell the rose, and blow the candle. And I hope and pray that somebody watches this video, that it convicts, that is in these kind of powers to possibly give me the right that I deserve instead of having to live through the despair that I've had to go through in my life. The way I look at it, if anybody deserved Social Security, would have been me for sure. Got to realize I was a self-employed business operator of a major air conditioning company in Tampa Bay for many years. I had many people work for me that I paid for their Social Security every single week. Every week I had to match what they had, which come out of my pocket and my partner's pocket, out of our profits, to pay their Social Security and match it. So people think that, it comes out of your check. Well, it does, but I have to match every dollar of that as well, and more. So after all of that, believe me, they should have. Yes, sir, James, sorry about your injuries. Here you go, sir. There you go. And I've done this for years. I'm talking many years. So if anyone deserves it, I do. Never wanted that much, but all I wanted was what was rightly mine. I've never requested anything more than what I deserved, ever. But I can't even get even a start of what I truly deserve. Let's do the math on that. What's an average Social Security guy? I think, what is it, $1,500 a month? See, 1,500 times, come on, Jim, use your brain. 1,500 times 12 months times 21 years, what is that, $378,000? $378,000 is what the government owes me today, just paying me normally what I should deserve to get. They denied me my last time because it's been over 10 years since I applied the last time. I didn't know I could even apply again. But they denied me, saying that I don't have enough work history, recent work history, to qualify anymore. So apparently I don't get Social Security the rest of my life. I've been working in the system ever since I was 15 years old. I've busted my hump my entire life. Over 35 to 40 years of my life was working through the system, making very, very, very good money. So believe me, as a single man, as a young married man, they taxed the crap out of me, trust me. I don't know, guys. And like I said, this is just what I would normally have gotten anyway. That's just that. That's nothing. No kind of pain and suffering. Nothing else. I mean, you know, I like I said, I've gotten screwed through my workman comp. Trust me, if you ever get injured in workman comp, run. Claim it somewhere else. I don't claim workman comp. Trust me, because they'll screw you out of every ounce they can possibly get out of you, and then run off and believe. And to think that the government has made rules for this workman comp to allow them to do that to these hard-working people, just because they have the right to allow a corporation to rip you off and to not cover you properly. I paid my butt out in insurance enough to protect all of my men. I had $1 million car policies just to cover them as they drove. I mean, they had the best insurance I could possibly buy for them and their families. That was their benefit package. I took care of them when they got hurt. Did my best. But it just goes to show you how the world craps on me. And I'm supposed to take it with a smile. And believe me, it has driven me to the brink of suicide many, many times. Trust me, you don't know what it's like to go through all this. Especially at 3 o'clock in the morning when everyone's asleep and you're sitting on the couch crying with a 44 Magnum stuck up your mouth. Yeah, knowing that probably my wife would do better if she just collected my life insurance. But then realizing if I did it, she wouldn't collect $1 because it would have been suicide instead of a natural death. So what was the purpose? I was really one messed up kid, I'm telling you. I was a messed up father. Where the brain drugs that they gave me tore me up and put me in addiction. And addicted to these painkillers and these drugs. This brain medication that just completely altered who I was and my personality. To one day, my little 6-year-old girl ran through and smarted off to her mommy and ran through, and I caught her and I scolded her, and then she smarted off to me and stomped into her room and slammed the door. Well, it pissed me off, and I got up and I went after her. My wife was in there cooking dinner, and she heard me get up. She knew exactly what was going down. And my daughter was saved because my wife stepped in front of me as I come to cut me off, ran through the kitchen and cut me off into the hallway leading to her bedroom. And she says, "You don't want to do this. It's not you, and it's your drugs talking to you. Go sit back down, I'll take care of it." So I did. Went back and sat down on the couch and literally busted in tears. Cried my eyes out for 2 days over that. Thinking that if I would have got a hold of my little girl, I probably would have killed her. And it would all been because of these drugs. So I swore off the drugs. Talk about withdrawals and pains. Coming off of Oxycontin and all these different drugs. That was the hardest thing I ever done in my life. of course, without them, fighting the, the seizures and things that was coming on that these drugs are trying to keep and monitor down. And living with this stuff for 21 years because I refused to take drugs. But the good Lord helped me with that pain. Because shortly after that, about 3 years later in 2003 is when I got saved. And the Lord taught me how to deal with that pain. And through prayer alone, I was able, and I still am able, to defeat every one of them except one every day. And every day it's always something different. But I live with the reminder of just one of the pains every day. And I call it my salvation pain and my phantom pain. It flows throughout my body. One day my hand won't work. This is all the nerve damage stuff. One day my eye will twitch all day long. Another day I'll be emotional as I could ever be. And who knows, my jaw will hurt. Or I'll forget how to breathe that day. And I have to concentrate all day long on how to breathe. Or I'll go to eat a simple meal and choke on it because I forget how to swallow right in the middle of taking a bite. I drowned on my own spit because I forget how to swallow and I breathe it instead of swallowing it. This is all brain damage. But see, they don't see this part of me. They don't see the physical torment that I'm in every single day. But every day, I spend 45 minutes in prayer before I even open my eyes, praying away all the pains, doing a full inventory on my whole body. And then about an hour into my day is when my phantom pain shows up. And for many years I even cried out to the Lord, said, Lord, take all the other ones away. What's this one? That was my reminder, pain. And then I'd come to embrace it. And I always felt that was my thorn in my side. Just like you said, you'll have a thorn in your side. That's why I'm a rough Christian, trust me. All I know is the way I've come down with the whole Bible and my teaching and my believing is this. Through hell, in the miry pit, I rolled over and looked to heaven. And Jesus from the cross, through the grace of his Father, reached down and grabbed my hand and pulled me out of that. Stood me up and brushed me off and say, there, go sin no more. Do your best. So I believe in my own heart, no matter what happens, the law, any of this stuff that the Bible talks about, I was given grace by God himself. I was given a gift of him sending his son to die on a cross for me. And through believing, just believing in him, then it makes me saved. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Forever. And he'll have my back. Have I had an easy Christianity? No. There for a while it got pretty good. It got actually pretty good. I don't even know if the thing is still recording. It actually got pretty good. Living life decently. I mean, we were struggling, but we were surviving. The wife finally got her teaching degree, and I was hired directly on with the teacher. And he started me in my ministries, and all the ministry that I do now is prayer van, and he makes me deal with people that has drug addictions, and I mean it's I'm a preacher that has to preach from my experiences in life, and believe me, in my normal life and also all the stuff that I've dealt with just through this part of my life has given me many, many, many things to talk about. And there's many, many people that I've ran across that had just a little touch of each one of those sections of my life that was breaking them. And I was able to preach with them and to love them and show them the truth about it all and be able to heal them and give them courage to go on and pick up and walk through. I've seen miracles after miracles. The reason is because there was no one out there that could sit and talk to me like that, because that's how many things I've been attacked by. There was no one out there with that kind of experience to be able to give me a comparable story to be able to talk to about it, especially with so many different ways. That's why I truly feel God himself had to do it. And ever since then, he gave me my mission for my ministry, and I've dedicated the last 20 years of my life to do the only thing that I could possibly do. Because honestly, if I shared my anger and my hurt with people, the devil would use it as a dagger and stab them, and they'd die right there in front of my feet. I've lost a few of them at my feet before because I wasn't there in time. He's even used that to try to break me, to get me to crumble and fall and disbelieve. God himself looked down on me one day in the presence of my own children and wrote a message in the sky to me. Told me to turn to Jesus. Yeah, there's been a lot of people that's combated that story, swearing up and down it was it was just a skywriter, Jim. Well, you know what? We tried to find a skywriter that could even possibly do it. Did you know there was only 3 skywriters in the whole United States? What that time there was. 2 of them was in California and 1 from New York. And none of them was in Florida that week. Thus I was told. But the man that told me that it was just a skywriter, I says, but that makes it even more of a miracle if it was. He said, what do you mean? I said, it wasn't no miracle. I said, yes, it was a miracle. I said, to think about the miracle that some saint was convicted in his heart through a church and through prayer one day. And he had the idea to go and hire a skywriter, pay him for his plane or his gas or whatever, and instruct him to come right over the top of my house at that exact moment in time to write the message in the sky that hit just me right square in the face. As I looked up and cried out to the Lord to show me a sign that he's real. And with my own son and my own daughter standing right there beside me as I cried out to the Lord to show me this sign, that's when it started writing in front of those 2 children. And I think He done it with my kids by my side so they would never have to doubt again. It was their miracle just as well, and both of them is their miracle still today. And they're now in their 30s. That alone is worth everything, every pain that I've ever paid. Just to give them the confidence in their own salvation. The confidence in their own Christianity and their own love for God Himself. And for me to drive across this country as many miles as I've driven and have people stand there at my van and write their prayers on my van and pray with me every single day and carry their prayers in my heart and my soul every morning, taking those prayers and lifting them up to the Lord in prayer. Watching these prayers on my van disappear from odd moments of my time. Some stay on there for years. I still got a few that's still on the prayer, and this is 20 years ago. But some of them has disappeared. The very second they were written, they would disappear. I mean, within an hour. And every one of them was written on there with Sharpie permanent markers. I literally taken soap and water and scrubbed and scrubbed and scrubbed as hard as I could possibly scrub on these things, and it would not come off. But yet it would disappear the next day. And the one right beside it would stay on there for the next year. But those are the prayers that I had to still pray over every single day. This is a living, walking miracle that convinced me of prayer every single day of my life. Am I a perfect Christian? No. Trust me, I'm not. But all I know is Jesus told me to do two things. Because of the grace that I was given, I'm supposed to love my Father with all my heart, all my soul, and all my mind. And never cease praying. And the second commandment was to love my neighbors as much as I love myself. And you know, the best thing that's ever happened to me is when I learned to forgive me. And until the day that I could forgive me, none of it made any sense. But the very second that I was able to forgive me, then I could turn around and I could love you, my neighbors. I could love the world. So even as today, I got my letter in the mail just today that I've been denied once again. So I figured I would refresh this and bring back maybe one last hope. Because apparently I won't even get regular Social Security, and here I am turning up into my senior years. I mean, I should be retiring here in a few years, which I won't. I mean, you know, my wife could leave me any day. If she would leave me today, I would have nothing. Literally nothing. I have one of my dearest friends that does whatever he can to help me. If it wasn't for him, believe me, my life would be a whole lot different than it is now. A whole lot worse off than what it is now. People don't have no idea. I mean, I drive a 25-year-old vehicle. I have zero to my name. Nothing. But yet I give every last penny I have into my pocket every single day to help somebody else or to love somebody else. And whatever I need that day, God always makes sure as I find or it's somehow mysteriously put in my pocket. I don't question how I get it. I don't question where it comes from. I know it all comes from the Lord. It comes from many, many different avenues, but it all comes from the Lord. And I pray the Lord every single day that every avenue that fulfills that promise to Him and helps me along the way and helps this ministry grow, you receive a blessing that only God Himself could ever imagine. And that when you do, you realize just what that blessing really was to you. And I want to reach out and give you a big old hug and kiss and tell you deserve every second of it. To enjoy it well, because well done, my favorite soul. Good and faithful servant, correct? So I do. I choose to live in poverty, I guess. Since I can't do anything else to make a living, God Himself gave me a job. Unfortunately, this job don't pay nothing. But except a bunch of miracles. He guarantees He took care of me. So I guess it pays in that. I mean, all I know is I've ran out of gas a few times, but, it was quickly resolved. I don't think I ever been hungry. He's always fed me and took care of me that way. Which, by the looks of me, I probably should have missed a few meals along the way. But anyway, this is my plea and cry to the world out there. If you feel what I do in my love to others and through my testimony and my efforts in doing this so-called ministry has reached you in any way, or has you want to become a part of that, of taking care of somebody else, hey, feel free to hit me up. I need every bit of help I can possibly get. And of course, I'll put this stuff in the description down there to show you how to get a hold of me. There's through Cash App and PayPal. But feel free to extend me a helping hand. And no matter how small or how big or how little, every dollar makes a difference. Trust me, every dollar goes straight to somebody else and straight to the gas tank. That's all it is. If you can find it in your heart, or if you have the ability to right some of the wrong that's happened to me directly through Social Security, send it to your congressman. Hell, send it to the President of the United States. Send it to someone that actually can make a difference. Let them see this video. And who knows, maybe I would be able to at least sustain my life the rest of my life. And then again, I don't even know if I'm even worthy of that. But either thing that I know is, when my time is up, God will take me. He'll take me home. Do I pray for that every day? No, I don't. I pray every day that He gives me one last moment to do something else good in His name. To rescue just one more broken one out there. To watch them grow and watch them grow in their salvation. And to be their mentor and to help them and to literally physically watch them heal. Don't have no clue what an honor that is to be able to watch such a precious transformation up close and personal. Well, that sort of gives you a roundabout of what my life is and what put me in this position of where I'm at and what took me to the limits of my life. one thing I would wish for you, pray for me. I need every prayer you could possibly ever utter. Pray for my wife. She deserves miracles herself. As much crap and the strength that that woman has endured and has pushed through just as hard as I have to deal with me and to still love me. I think she does. Well, she's still around. That's good enough for me, I guess. And for my children, that they continue to have the cherishable heart that I've instilled in them throughout their life. They've watched these miracles take place right before their lives. They've watched it grow up. They've met these people. They've fed these people. They've helped these people just as much. Hopefully, in their older years, they'll have just as tender heart as I do, and the compassion for somebody else. That's my prayer. But hey, I just wanted to be straight with you, and I'm sorry about any of the language I might have slipped up on, but you know what, now knowing my story, you can see there's just no way to describe what's happened without a few bad attitude moments. And believe me, I held back quite a bit, if you know what I mean. But like I say, I apologize, but I say to the Lord every day, Lord, I'm a sinner. But yet every day He forgives me, and every day He's with me. Every moment of every day He's hugging me. He's telling me He loves me. This world has gone to crap. Look around us. The stuff that we're having to endure, look what it's doing to the churches. The almighty churches. Holier than thou said, no, Jim, your ministry. Well, it's amazing how you can see a major churches fall and crumble right before your feet. They don't understand the kind of power and the mess that I had to live through. But what they don't understand is when they kick me to the curb, they don't understand what they've done to me is because no matter how hot an ember is, when a fire is really roasting and burning, no matter you get the best one, you pull it off to the side, that coal will start to die. No matter, because it's without the fellowship of his family. I guess God wanted to make a point and show him what it felt like to be scattered. And they've been scattered. And a few of them has shut down. A few of them has really been struggled pretty darn hard, believe me. The ones that loved me and the ones that took care of me are still surviving and hanging on there. So it's showing me that God takes care of His own. I've seen a lot of people struggling, a lot of people that wouldn't even consider, they were making millions, best that they could possibly do. Giving me hell because of what I do and how I take care of others is even more blessed than I am. But yet I would still bend over to help them out and save them and rescue them when they were down. They would scold me for what I did for somebody else. And then yet today I see them burn and pay a pain that I've never seen before. And it breaks my heart to see them like that. It really does. It breaks my heart. But nothing you could do could have warned them. You know, people don't listen to you. But anyway, guys, hey, God bless each and one of you. I'm sure I've driven you plumb crazy by now anyway. And if any of you actually did ever watch this thing all the way through, God bless all of you. Hopefully it was enough to just encourage you possibly to get out and do your best in your part. So next time you see a homeless person or a drug addict or someone that's really struggling in life. Or you see someone that's disabled, but yet you don't understand their disability. Without judgment, ask God to have compassion for them. You'd be surprised how many people are just a bit disabled that you don't actually see their disability. But neither does the world. They don't get what they rightfully deserve. But if you do know an avenue on how to help these people out and help them get through this, take that as your calling. God gave you that information, that knowledge for a reason. It's time for you to start stepping up to the plate and really truly helping these people through the cobwebs of it all. I mean, I've been denied food stamps because I own a vehicle. 25 years old, but I own a vehicle. I could drive a 2022 Mercedes-Benz, and I would get my food stamps as long as I was paying out my butt for that car. I would still qualify because that was not something that I owned; it was a debt. Go figure. I'd get a lot more things if I was divorced from my wife. Yeah, I'd qualify for a lot of things. But because she makes a living, puts me out of the market for a lot of assistance, a lot of help. So I can't get Medicaid. Thank God for my kids and my wife to actually pay for me insurance this year so I could get my health back together. I probably would have died without it. Well, enough for crying out to you guys. It's not your problem. It's my life. But hey, thanks for listening. God bless each and one of you. May God bless you and look over you and touch you and bless you just as hard as you could possibly be blessed. That's my prayer in my life for you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.